a serious situation, especially when you have Odessa, Midland, Midkiff, and even St. Lawrence all just so close by, especially as the tornado itself is heading toward a very busy region of the highway. I know you guys probably out there traveling for Cinco de Mayo, you name it, and you know what? Today was probably not the best kind of travel day. Today is May the 4th, and so of course May the 4th be with you. And when that is the case, hey, we want to make sure that you guys are staying safe. And it's best to kind of just stay at home, maybe watch some Star Wars, unless we lose power, in which case, well, I don't really have a better suggestion. Aurora mentioned playing a game of Uno. I'm a sucker for that, so I don't. Oh, I love playing Uno. I've loved it since I was a kid. All right, tornado warning in effect until Saturday at 6:45 p.m. tonight. All right. Here's what I got for you guys. We are still watching heavy precipitation around the area. We're looking at between half an inch or so, at least per hour. Let's go ahead into the actual heaviest part of the storm in southern Midland County. Let's see what I'm actually getting here. Whew. If you are in the red, we are seeing about 7.5 inches of rain per hour. Now you see why we have those flood warnings in effect. Yeah, I don't blame you either. And it's because West Texas, we're just not really meant to handle a lot of this rain all at once. It's mostly sand and dirt, and well, they don't really absorb water all that well. Grass and trees do, and of course, yeah, we do have them, just not as much as the rest of the state, more of the eastern side of the state. They're more prone to dealing with a lot of the heavy rain all at once. But you even see examples of places like Houston, literally just a lot of like swamps and marshes still can't handle a whole lot of that rainfall. All right, here's the latest on that tornado warning. We do have tornado warning alongside ping pong sized hail. Okay, that's decent-sized hail enough, and that is obviously makes sense considering we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for, again, Upton and Midland counties. Is it actually moving toward Midland? That's probably what a lot of you guys want to know. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and play that little loop. You know what? It is not necessarily. The storms earlier, absolutely. These ones, they're kind of just moving a little bit closer to the east, just moving almost directly east. And even this severe thunderstorm warning itself, too. Oh, I drew a box. That's not what I meant to do. Well, you know what? Hey, we're watching this entire system as it's moving through. Let's go ahead and actually track that severe thunderstorm warning, too. So we track the tornado. It's heading toward Midkiff. It's heading toward St. Lawrence. The thunderstorm in which this whole thing is situated in, the direction it's kind of going, we're looking more towards Spraberry, right around 6:39 p.m. So we're keeping an eye on that. So, of course, here's the actual line that we're going to see for the entire squall system itself. I'm going to go ahead and actually zoom out real quick before, that way we can kind of get an idea, kind of following this entire storm in its entirety as it pushes its way through. All right, Spraberry, it's showing right around 6:30 or so. That's the outer edge of the storm, heading towards St. Lawrence right around 6:54. And heading toward Garden City by around 6:04. And is it just me, Aurora, or am I hearing at least a little bit of a tinking behind me? I think that might be maybe some small-sized hail hitting our station. We're right in between Midland and Odessa here, right near where the radar is. So yeah, we're starting to get a little tinks of those hail. And you know what? While this hail itself might not be very large or severe, the one thing we want to make sure that we're doing is keeping everyone safe. Now, okay, that small hail might not do any significant damage, but it does kind of give the road a little bit of a coating of ice. And you guys are well aware during our winter months when we get some of that freezing rain, it's going to have a very similar effect. On top of the roads being quite slick, because we really haven't had much rain a lot lately, that is going to lead to some of those problems. Of course, temperature-wise, it's really not been too terribly bad, but you know what I am going to pull up is actually one of our sky cams, seeing if I can see at least a little bit of an idea of what we're seeing right over Midland, Odessa, anything along those lines. So let's go ahead and pull that up. All right, yeah, we got those thunderstorms, but let's go ahead and get that out of there. All right, we're seeing a noticeable wall cloud. This is looking out toward Odessa from the Bank of America building in downtown Midland. This is going to be with some of those very, very strong storms across the region. Actually, let's go ahead and move it to the south just a little bit, see if we can see anything but noticeable shelf cloud, very dark skies, and unfortunately, it looks like we're seeing a whole lot of rain down to the south as well, limiting visibility across the board. So that's why it's imperative that we stay on top of this tornado warning for the southern part of Midland County. You know what? Let's go ahead and also check over on the Odessa camera. Oh, would you look at that? We're actually getting a little bit of a rainbow on top of Odessa. Starting to see at least a little bit of a break in the clouds. And you know what? That's fantastic. You get a nice little rainbow right over top of it. Hey, it's the calm after the storm. Hey, we're still keeping an eye on these storms, though, because they are going to be severe warned for much of the region. Keeping an eye on it, too. Hey, at least weather still brings in some beauty even when it is on the more destructive end of the spectrum. Let's also go ahead and switch it over to the KWES cameras looking over from the northern part of Midland. And yeah, we're still seeing those very large cloud structures right over top of downtown Midland. You can certainly see that from the camera. Let's go ahead and actually pull up the station camera now, too, overlooking the airport. And yeah, it's shaking, winds are gusting. Temperature-wise, it's not too terribly bad. That's the one benefit about a lot of these storms. We get some cooler weather at the end of the day. All right, let me go ahead and switch off this camera because it is shaking a little bit, and I know it gets myself just a little bit dizzy too. Let's get a wide angle view of what we got going on top of much of West Texas. You know what? We got a lot going on. So let's take a look at this. All right, two main areas of interest. I feel like it's always been two. All right, what I got now is going to be that one tornado warned storm right over top of Midkiff. All right, it's going to be moving its way farther and farther. So let's get the actual center of the storm, move it in the direction of the warning out towards St. Lawrence, hitting Midkiff within the central part of where that tornado warning is. That's going to be right around 6:36. So if you are in that area, take cover immediately. We are talking about a tornado warning here, guys. That is going to be radar indicated rotation. We got heavy rainfall on top of it all. It's going to be a tornado as well as ping-pong-sized hail. Lots of flying debris. So here's an actual specific location. You guys can get a better idea of it. All right. At 6:15, National Weather Service issued the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located 21 miles south of the Midland International Air and Spaceport, or 22 miles southeast of Odessa, and it's moving east at about 20 miles an hour. Now, off the top of my head, I think, okay, 20 miles an hour, I can easily outrun that in my car. Yeah, you probably could, but don't try it because it's not going to be just the actual winds of the tornado. It's going to be the winds surrounding the tornado that can pick up and toss those cars around. Don't try to outrun it. Leave any type of storm chasing to the professionals. We have a number of storm chasing professionals out in the region. We also have a number of our own storm spotters out there sending us some pictures in as well. Hey, after the storm is passed, please feel free to send us in some of the pictures of either hail or some dark clouds that you're seeing. We love to see them. We want to feature them in the show for tonight. And we still just have a whole lot of activity going on right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to the velocity, see if I'm seeing anything significant right now. And you know what? I'm seeing a whole lot of very strong winds kind of hanging out just to the outside of Midkiff. It's really going to be that green and that red colors together that's really amplifying the entire situation. All right. Red means it's moving away from the radar. Green means it's moving toward the radar. And you know what? We're also seeing a little bit activity as we head into the regular parts of the day. All right, that one severe thunderstorm, it is actually reduced at least a little bit. And you know what? We're still seeing a whole lot of activity around the entirety of the region. At least it's going to the more rural areas. But you know what? Hey, we've got a lot of people working out on the oil rigs out there too. We want to make sure that you guys are out there, you are protected, you are safe from situations like this. So we're going to continue to give you a lot of that coverage going into this afternoon and this evening. Red and green together, not going to be the best type of situation. And you know what? We're still covering a lot of that. So let me go ahead and just run a quick radar loop for you guys so you can see exactly what we're seeing as we head into the later parts of this evening. And I will be back in just. All right, we're back. So I got a little bit of a new update from the National Weather Service. They're kind of defining that tornado warning a little bit more, still in effect for the next, looks like 20 more minutes. So we got that severe thunderstorm warning just outside of that area as well. Let's go ahead and pause it, put it on a loop. All right, here's what we got for you guys. So latest information from that new severe thunderstorm warning and from that tornado warning. All right, tornado and ping pong sized hail. Yikes, that's going to hurt a little bit, especially if you guys are outside unprotected. Make sure you are going indoors. You are finding your safe place, especially in situations like this. It is moving out toward Midkiff. As a matter of fact, we're still keeping an eye on it. We got that radar indicated rotation. You got some flying debris from around the area too. It could be anything from wooden fences to even pump jacks falling over. The last thing we want is for you guys to be out there in that kind of a situation. And you know what? Yeah, pump jacks can get blown over in things like this. So it's very important. The hail size is going to be about 1.5 inches in diameter. So yeah, about the size of a ping pong. And well, it's not necessarily a lot of fun getting hit with a ping pong, although when it's made of ice, that's a lot worse. All right, here's what I got on the latest for that thunderstorm warning in the southern part of Midland County. Ping pong sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts as well. So even if you are not in the direct center of where this tornado warning is, you are still getting wind gusts easily surpassing 60 miles an hour across the area. So yes, it's going to be windy. It's going to be rainy. You still have the hail, and you got the tornado too. Make sure you are taking cover right away. Tornado watch remains in effect for much of western Texas until 10 o'clock tonight. Here's what I got in terms of the big warnings across the entirety of the region. And there's a lot of them, guys. It has been a very busy day here at NewsWest 9. But you know what? We got a great team. We got great people. We are making sure that you are staying safe out here, especially in situations like this. All right, this tornado warning just happens to be right in the middle of the severe thunderstorm watch and the tornado watch. So it goes to show that even if you're not under a tornado watch, you can still easily get a lot of that activity across the region. We're keeping an eye on it. And the main areas of interest I'm focused on are going to be that one big storm in Fort Stockton. That was the one that produced that tornado earlier. It's still just kind of sitting over top of the area. And you know what? That's going to be the one that is constantly bringing in a lot of flooding. And most of these storms, at least out near the Stockton Plateau, tend to just kind of linger, hang out, not necessarily move around too terribly much. So unfortunately, it will continue to dump a lot of very heavy rain across the region. The actual latest on that severe thunderstorm warning is going to be 3-inch diameter hail. I did not misspeak. 3-inch diameter hail. That is bigger than a baseball. This is going to be deadly hail out there. Make sure that you are immediately taking cover. You are not in a vehicle. This will go right through your windshield. Of course, 3-inch size hail. People and animals outdoor will be severely injured or even killed in situations like this. Shattered windows, extensive damage to roofs, sidings, and vehicles. Let the insurance companies take care of that. Do not put your own life at risk. Of course, luckily, it is still going to be for more rural areas, but it's right along 285. So we want to make sure that you guys are staying safe out there. The other main story for today is going to be a lot of that tornado out toward Midkiff. And you know what? I'm still seeing a lot of that activity continuing across the region. Let me go ahead and zoom out so I can show you guys. Again, just to the south of Midland, we are looking in Bradbury. We got that tornado-warned storm. In fact, for the next 15 minutes, we still got a little bit of time on that. Let's go ahead and actually get the pathing of this to see exactly where it's going as we continue to move directly to the east, hitting Midkiff within the next couple of minutes. Guys, downtown Midkiff will get hit within a couple of minutes. Heading out towards St. Lawrence by around 7 o'clock. Hopefully that tornado warning is going to be expired during that time period, but of course we're still keeping an eye on the situation out here, and it's not really looking too terribly pretty. Let's go ahead and put it on a loop real quick so I can show you guys exactly how quickly the situation is constantly changing. This is over the last 2 hours, so we're seeing these storms moving in all different directions. The ones earlier were moving to the northeast. These ones are moving directly east. We're keeping an eye on them because they're just extremely unpredictable. It's why I can't necessarily pinpoint for a day like today where anyone is going to get rain and where people in general are going to get rain. It is certainly just a bit of a dicey situation as well. Now let's go ahead and see if I can zoom in a little bit, and you know what? We're going to go ahead and jump right into our regular programming, which is our show.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on NewsWest 9 at 6. Let's go right ahead and bring in Chief Meteorologist Jordan Fraser back with us. Jordan, go ahead and get folks updated. Are we expecting any more activity throughout the night here?
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Still expecting a whole lot of activity across the entirety of the region as we push our way into this afternoon and this evening. Unfortunately, we still have that tornado warning that's going to be in effect for the southern part of Midland County, northern part of Upton County, heading right on top of Midkiff right now. Let me go ahead and see. Whoops, I clicked the wrong button, but you know what? That's okay because we're going to zoom in and see specifically where on top of Midkiff this storm is actually moving through. All right, we're looking right along a lot of the county roads, county highways, and you know what? We're still seeing just a moderate rain right now in downtown Midkiff, especially Farm to Market Road, 2401. And you know what? It's still just a large tornado warning area. Let me go ahead and actually zoom in on the velocity, see where we're seeing that specific rotation. And you know what? I'm actually not seeing super well-defined rotation, but I am seeing extremely strong winds. That's going to be right in the middle there, almost right where that arrow is pointing, just a little bit farther down. Those extremely strong upfront winds. So let me actually see if I can see what the radar is saying about those winds themselves. 101 mile per hour winds are being picked up on radar. That is likely where that tornado is going to be. We're talking about extremely strong winds, that strong tornado activity around the area, 95 mile per hour winds within that. And of course, we just got another severe thunderstorm warning issued for that storm as it's continuing to move its way out of the region. Still going to be just that radar indicated rotation, but the radar itself is picking up winds over 100 miles an hour. Yep, that's probably going to be where the center of the tornado is, so we're keeping an eye on that. Still going to get a whole lot of these very strong winds across the area. Yep, 105 mile per hour winds, and that's going to be right along 349. We're keeping an eye on that because that's where a lot of you guys are going to be driving. If you're going south of Midland, south of Odessa, you're going to be taking that road. The last thing you want to do is be in a car when you have 100 mile an hour winds. That will toss your car around. Doesn't matter if it's a big car, small car, truck, sedan. That is why we always say don't be out there driving when we have these tornado warnings in effect. Especially you don't want to be in the vehicle when the vehicle is picked up. That's why we always say go into a large building, go into the center room. You want to make sure that you're staying safe in those types of situations. Here's what to do. When you get to the building, go to the middle. Go away from the windows. Cover your head. It could be something as simple as the back of your hands. It could also be with a helmet, blanket, pillows. You want to make sure that you are going to your safe place in a situation like this. The last thing we want is for you guys to get hurt out there. Now, much of the region is still going to be under that level 3 enhanced risk for storms tonight. I don't know, what does that mean, Jordan? All right, well, the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center rank everything on a scale from 1 to 5. We're at level 3. We don't typically get that. Numerous severe storms possible, more persistent, widespread, and a few intense storms are likely. This is we've been seeing tornadoes pop up across the entire region for quite some time now. And you know what? I don't think they're going to be done really until about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. That's why we're staying on top of it. We're keeping you informed, and we are keeping you guys safe. So here is the warning map for the entire area right now. And there's a lot. All right, bright yellow, it's going to be tornado watch. Tornadoes are possible within some of these storms once they go severe or even before they go severe. Up to the north, especially places like Midland, Ector County, all the way up into the Panhandle, that's going to be that severe thunderstorm watch. A lot of the thunderstorms that pop up, they're more than likely going to end up going severe. A lot of that little green you're seeing everywhere, those are flash flood warnings. A lot of these storms, they might just sit over an area for quite an extended length of time and not leave, which is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing very heavy amounts of rainfall very quickly. Within the actual tornado-warned storm, not only are we getting a velocity on the radar over 100 miles an hour, but the radar itself is even able to pick up right on top of some of that hail core too, how much rain we're getting. All right, if you are in the little purple area within the actual storms there, all right, I'm talking if you are right along, looks like County Road 120A, South County Road 1160, we are getting precipitation 12.5 inches per hour. That's about 2 inches every 10 minutes. So while the entire storm might not hang over an area for the hour, it's still going to produce at least 2 inches every 10 minutes. Yeah, that's a lot of rain, and, well, unfortunately, we're just not really built for a lot of that activity out here. And you know what? That's going to lead to some possible localized and flash flooding concerns. All right, here's the latest on that severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued within the storm itself. So let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. This is the storm that's extending out towards St. Lawrence and out toward 163, just south of Sterling City and south of Garden City. That storm itself, all right, here's what I got for you guys. Severe thunderstorm, 26 miles southeast of the Midland International Air and Spaceport, 26 miles south of Greenwood, and it's moving east at about 30 miles an hour. You got that ping-pong-sized hail. You got 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. A lot of this is going to be radar indicated, but you want to make sure you are getting to your safe place because we still have that tornado warning in effect. Still just going to be the tornado with the ping-pong-sized hail. If you have ping-pong-sized hail moving around the tornado, which is picking up winds at about 105 miles an hour, I never really played baseball much as a kid, but even a ping pong moving at 105 miles an hour is going to do significant damage. This is why we say stay away from windows. If you are in your car and you're unable to leave the car, here's a tip. Go to the back seat, get away from the windshield, get away from the back windows. Probably cover yourself with anything because there's going to be a lot of broken glass. Ideally, get out of the car in its entirety because again, when you have 105-mile-an-hour winds, that could easily just pick up and toss your car like a kid playing with Hot Wheels. And that was fun as a kid, not as an adult, especially when it actually happens. And you know what? I want to just make sure you guys are staying safe out there because we have very strong winds. It's going right on top of Midkiff right now. Here's what I got from the actual velocity readings from this. We're keeping an eye on it. There's just a whole lot of activity as well. Let me go ahead and get rid of that path. That pathing is not necessarily the most accurate right now. Still extremely strong rotation right now. You're seeing those very bright reds right there. It's getting stronger. It's getting more defined too. Let's go ahead and actually see what I can do here. We're going to get the actual wind speeds now. Only about 79 miles an hour. Okay, that's certainly pretty good. A little bit better. 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And you know what else? I'm getting about 93 mile per hour wind gusts around the storm. Within the closer part toward the center, maybe about 7 miles an hour. Okay. Nothing too crazy, but you know what? At least it's going to be something out there. We're keeping an eye on it. It's severe warned for about the next 6 minutes. Stay with me here for 6 more minutes, guys, because it's going to be on top of Midland and on top of Upton counties. Let me see if I'm getting any of the latest information from the National Weather Service, if they're able to see anything on here. Still got that severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, and you know what? No update right now from anything on the potential tornado across the area. Let's see if I can get any replies. Definitely going to be very impressive on radar is what they're saying. That's true. We actually do have a chaser heading down 349. Again, that is a professional storm chaser. That is their job. They have the equipment to deal with this. The average person, even including myself, we are not prepared to be out there chasing these storms. So please leave it to the professionals. We all knew that there was going to be a large-scale outbreak right on top of much of West Texas today. That's why we got a lot of these professionals out here storm chasing. But hey, if you guys are able to, after the storm has passed, you got some good hail pictures, you got maybe some damage, you got maybe some cool cloud pictures, please feel free to send them in. Send them to my Facebook, send them to our news station's Facebook. You can text them to us as well. We love seeing all kinds of stuff like that. So we have dealt with a number of tornadic activity across the region today. Let's take a live look at what we got going on. All right, Midland overlooking the airport. Not necessarily seeing a whole lot right now. And you know what? That's actually going to be pretty good. What about downtown Midland? All right, overlooking the southern part of the area, still just seeing a lot of very heavy rainfall. That's going to be limiting visibility across the board. Still seeing some of that rain fall down as well. Overlooking a little bit closer toward Midkiff, still just very rain-wrapped. You can see the structures of the building just dripping nothing but water. It's because we're getting a lot of that very heavy rainfall. Unfortunately, from the north, that tornado is rain-wrapped, which means you won't be able to see it until it takes you. Don't do that. We want to make sure that you guys are staying safe out there. Overlooking Odessa a little bit, still just seeing a little bit of those better conditions, but maybe not going to be the best. Still quite windy out there, no matter which direction you're looking at. And you know what else? We also got the one overlooking Cladesta, still looking at those very dark clouds over top of Midland, because that is where the majority of the activity is as we go into this afternoon and this evening. Strongest winds still going to be within those actual storms themselves. But you know what? You guys don't care about the winds. Let's go ahead and actually check in on that tornado once again, see what we got going on, if there's any new developments. It's set to expire within about the next 3 minutes. Still keeping an eye on it. Still quite an impressive hail core as well. We're looking at very large-sized hail. Again, up to ping pong to maybe even golf ball-sized hail with this. Neither are really fun to get hit by, especially when it's ice. And even after the storm is over, you still might want to wait before you go out driving, before you go to any kind of events or activities, because a lot of what this hail will do will just kind of hang over the region, and it's not going to melt right away. Notice the temperatures right below me. It's 67 degrees right now. That's because we've been getting a whole lot of rain across the area. When that's the case, well, you just typically don't get a whole lot of that ice melting really fast. And you know what? We've all lived through the winters here. I'm assuming, at least, you get a lot of that freezing rain. Well, hail can do the same kind of effect. You got the slick roads, plus little pebbles of ice everywhere. Not going to be the best for driving. Doesn't matter if you have all-wheel drive or not. It's not going to be easy. And the last thing we want is for people to hurt themselves. Yep, looks like the National Weather Service has gone ahead and issued another tornado warning. This time it's kind of following a rather southeasterly kind of loop. That's going to be now in effect until about 7:30 this evening. It's heading toward, looks like, Texas Road 137. Granted, it tends to be looking out toward a little bit more of the rural areas of the region, but you know what? Hey, we're still seeing that noticeable little hook on top of the area here. You could probably see at least that hook too, that little rotation within the actual radar. It is rather interesting to see it happen in real time. So if I were to take the map from the actual little hook itself, it's heading towards Stiles by around 7:10 p.m. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. And of course, we're getting the latest update from the National Weather Service about that tornado warning. Let's go ahead and see what they have to say about it. Still going to be the tornado with the ping pong sized hail, still the very strong rotation. We're going to keep an eye on it, and of course we're going to keep you covered throughout much of the evening. But for now, I'm going to toss it over toward Alex, and we're going to toss it to a quick little commercial break.